In part 1 of my screencast series comparing Lightroom's Watermark feature to my preferred method of copyright stamping images in advance of publishing them to the web, I brought up the issue of using one's name as image author versus the notion of using one's website address or URL in the Watermark's design. Of course, our images are copyright protected to each of us individually. That copyright is not assigned to a website address. However, I started using my website address as a watermark about a decade ago when I was still making my living entirely by providing location scouting services to filmmakers producing television commercials and photographers shooting print ads. These folks scour the web for leads that will allow them to quickly and easily pitch a more impressive bid response to an advertising agency's project brief they have an opportunity to compete for. All these folks are building image reference libraries they can pull from for ideas from a variety of resources in order to meet deadlines for client presentations. So if you're posting to the internet, if you're sharing your work online, understand that once it leaves your computer, it's up for grabs. But then, maybe that's a good thing. Remember I said I began using my website address as my watermark while I was working as a location scout? Well, next to word of mouth, a referral from a friend or colleague as the best form of advertising for a company or individual is having one's company name and contact information in front of a decision maker when they're about to make the choice of who to hire on the project they are currently prepping for. By embedding my location scouting website's URL into each of the images I would upload to my site or share with a client when they ask for research, photographs that they would eventually stash into folders labeled roads or towns, Route 66 or ranches for use again on additional projects, I always had a sort of leg up, a subtle hook or a trail of cookie crumbs leading them back to my website, my photography, and the easiest way for them to contact me again, increasing the potential of my securing a new, short-term, well-paying position on a TV commercial or photo shoot. Your images could act as virtual business cards when they've been watermarked with your photo website's address. Make sure that you add copyright information at the time you import your photos into your Lightroom catalog by creating a preset, and consider making a series of Photoshop brushes that utilize your website's address, especially if you have made the more professional decision to invest in a single or noteworthy URL to represent your work. It is best to watermark your shared digital photographs with your name as the image's author if you are posting to sites like Flickr, SmugMug, DeviantArt, or some other cataloging site. But if your digital images are remarkable enough that others might want to download them to save as part of a screensaver they are building, or as ideas for the future, if you have developed the work-specific website for showcasing your photography online, then ensure that you lead patrons and admirers back to your website again and again. Consider stamping your work with your site address. Click-throughs to your site are great for one's ongoing effort at search engine optimization. Even better, if someone likes your work and your site, they may post about it to their friends and colleagues, maybe even link to your site from their own.